Opinions Unqualified. Welcome to today's show. Today's show is actually a first because it's just Sam here today. I do have a guest with me, but Nixie is not feeling too well today on our recording day. So I'll be interested to see how it goes. We're in a different venue. We have usually at Nixie's place or down at the shed at but now we are in the study. Or study/clothes room, which is interesting, but that's all right. So, I mean, now that I'm speaking to myself, I better introduce the guest. Today we've got someone very special, professional basketball player that's been all over Australia. Great looking bloke, great bloke just in general. It is Joel. Joel, how you doing?
Good to be here. I think a few of those things are a bit exaggerated, but that's all right. Thanks for the intro.
We like to talk our guests up a little bit, we make them feel good, but it's not far from the truth either.
Not too far, just a little bit of a stretch. A fisherman's story.
Have you listened to much of Opinions Unqualified podcast?
I have. I've listened on the way to work a few times. Just get it going in the background. It's a good way to start your morning, I reckon.
Have you got any thoughts, any criticisms, any positive?
I mean, yes, I do have criticism, but only good criticism.
We love constructive criticism.
Constructive feedback. I mean, it's early days for you, so I'm happy to be one of the OGs in supporting the rise of Opinions Unqualified, so it can only go up from here.
I mean, it's not going down, that's for sure.
Still going, not at all.
We're going strong. Anyway, Joel, something that's very, very interesting, and sadly it was cut short because of all this COVID stuff. You had the privilege of going to Adelaide.
I did. Yep.
To play some b-ball. How about, could you tell us and the listeners a little bit about your experience over there?
It was great. I mean, first of all, getting there, I did not know a single person. I hadn't met anyone from the team or the community or anything. So I was literally a fish out of water in that sense. But that was good for me because I had to learn and put myself out there more and force myself to be sociable just to meet new people. So
yeah, how did you find that as well, kind of putting yourself out there? Obviously I guess when you're fully immersed, I remember when I went to Tucson, it was kind of the same. I didn't know anyone over there, and you had to, you knew your teammates, but you kind of still had to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
But I know even now when I go to uni and I'm like, I walk in, first week of semester or whatever, I'm like, I'm going to be sociable, I'm going to talk to everyone, I'm going to meet new people.
Yeah.
And then I end up just grabbing a chair in the back of the class and just sitting there and doing my work, and you're like, damn, like, I should have been sociable, but, you just kind of go back into your shell. So, mate, yeah, how was it kind of, obviously, the people at basketball, it's a bit easy, you got that mutual connection, but did you meet many people kind of outside of that basketball circle?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I went straight to Tinder and Bumble, but just to connect with new people. So I did a few double dates, myself and the import I was staying with, and just we went bowling with a few people and went out, hit the town. It was just an excuse to get out, and otherwise we'd be sitting at home all day.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Bowling. What's your bowling game like?
Bowling. Look, I'm competitive, but it's on and off. Very on and off. My high would probably be like, I don't know, a 160, 180. I've never cracked the 200.
Not too bad.
But I'm more of a trick shot guy. I usually get one game in and then I'm going through the legs and eyes closed and all that sort of stuff.
What's your go-to trick shot?
Probably between the legs.
Between the legs?
Yeah,
like
I strike
backwards?
that one. Backwards between the legs.
2 hands?
One hand.
Yeah, right.
So you kind of go as if you're about to bowl normally, and then you use that momentum to swing around and just chuck it between the noggins.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
Yeah.
What's your strike rate?
Oh, not high. It looks good. I never caught it on camera yet, though.
Is your strike rate at that trick shot or strike rate on Tinder better?
Tinder better.
Good,
Far better,
good.
yeah.
That doesn't surprise me at all, Joel. I mean, I definitely would use your photos to catfish a few people. I don't know if you listened to the podcast where we were talking about online dating with my auntie.
Yep, listen to that
I
one.
did drop that. I was on the on those apps, so I could drop opinions unqualified to try get our
that's
strength.
right. Yeah,
But
I
you
remember
know,
saying.
if I had some good photos, or I was just a better looking person, maybe I would have had a few more matches, and maybe we could have had a couple hundred more followers. So if you ever want to hit up some people on your Tinder profile or anything like that, and just drop opinions unqualified, now that you're going to be on an episode, you can just tell them
I might
15.
just do that. Yeah.
Game time.
That's all we need to do. Nothing has to come from it. They just got to get the follow and
Exactly.
start viewing, listening.
That's all it is. So you talked about going out in Adelaide. What was that like compared to Perth?
It was cool because in Adelaide, the time that I was there was for the Fringe Festival, which is the second biggest in the world. And so the whole city gets on board. It really doesn't sleep for that time, so there's always something to do. So for a newbie like myself, it was great just walking around, and there was always an attraction, something you could buy tickets to. So yeah, there was always something to do while we're there, which is really good.
Did you have like a go-to cafe or something, like not a fast food place, like something that was like Adelaide only kind of, that they don't have here, that was kind of your spot? Or did you venture quite a lot?
Tried to venture out. There was this one cool place that we came across, and it was just a 24-hour like cafe / bar. So you could go at any time of the day or night. A little piano set up at the back if you wanted to play. They had a little jukebox set up if you want to put some tunes on, and then buy a few drinks and just let the night go by.
Did you get on the piano at all?
Nah, I didn't. Should have, but I didn't.
It would have been interesting to see some drunk folk trying to jump up on that piano.
Oh yeah, would have been interesting and entertaining.
I would have had the crowd going if I was there, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
No skill involved.
Mary had a little lamb and chopsticks, right?
Nah, no. So improvised, fully improvised. Just a lot of vocals, getting the crowd involved, getting everyone on their feet. Having a good time. But yeah, so that's kind of cool that you got to experience kind of going to Adelaide, going to a new place by yourself and whatnot. Which hopefully, I mean, you can experience that again or something similar sometime soon. Once all this COVID stuff is done with, so we can travel.
Yeah, I'd love to. Love to leave the state.
Yeah, if they can pull it all together over there, I guess. Yeah. I don't know what Adelaide's doing, but the other places aren't too good.
Adelaide's pretty good. I think they're like WA in a sense.
Yeah, right. That's not too bad.
Keeping it close, yeah.
Anyway, all right. I want to talk about Last Chance U, season 5. Now, you said that you don't watch Last Chance U.
I've not seen Last Chance.
But
no.
And I'm sure that a few of our listeners also would probably not have watched Last Chance U. And Last Chance U is a Netflix show, and it follows. Always picks out one junior college team in America for American football,
right?
And it kind of just follows their season and their trials and tribulations, and because it is JUCO, there's a lot of dudes with interesting stories, as JUCO tends to be kind of a melting pot of all different reasons and whatnot. It's not kind of that D1 where everyone's there, these guys kind of, it's more real life, I guess, like they're, on this season 5, this new one, like there are dudes that travel like 3 hours a day
to get to training,
to get their training and to get to school and whatnot. Crazy stuff. Because this one's based in Compton, in LA or California, and it's kind of interesting because apparently I didn't know this, because I always, you think Compton. What do you think about when you hear Compton?
You think Compton, you think straight out of Compton, like the movies and
Rough and Ready,
Yeah,
so it was quite interesting watching it, because apparently now there's like a real kind of a big hipster vibe in Compton. Yeah, so and a lot of big business moving in.
Okay.
So there's a lot of
new development.
demolition of old stuff and new buildings and stuff, which is actually raising housing prices and the cost of living, which is pushing those original Compton people further and further away,
Okay.
which is why some of these kids are traveling so far, because they can't live in Compton, which is interesting. But anyway, if you haven't watched Last Chance U, I highly recommend it. It's probably every time it comes out, I smash it out in like 2 days. Like, it's super interesting.
What season are they up to? How many?
Five
seasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 5 seasons. They're like 45-minute long episodes, and there's probably about 8 episodes.
45 minutes. That's a good amount of time for an episode, I reckon, because you know that you can catch up quickly if you haven't started the season already.
Exactly. Yeah. And the good thing about Last Chance U is, I don't know about you, I'm very prone to picking up my phone or picking something up during a show or something like that. Just not because I haven't lost interest in it, but my mind just kind of...
It wanders. Yeah.
I feel Last Chance U is very like... You're locked in, you know, it grabs your attention and you kind of pay attention, which I find is good always.
So you can't miss out, otherwise you're lost in the episode.
Yeah, but it's not almost that you get lost. It's more of like you're watching and you want to watch it.
Mm.
You know, like you're fully immersed in it.
You want to know what happens.
Yeah,
you don't want to miss it.
It's kind of cool. And I guess we can kind of lead on to that with the getting distracted. Is a good way I get distracted is I talk to myself internally. Now this happens everywhere, really. I'm always talking to myself in my head, and I've always wondered, am I weird, or do other people also have this constant dialogue with themselves in their head? So are you a talker in your head?
Both in my head and out loud. I don't think it's weird, but I think maybe the dialogue that I have in my head to myself might be a little bit weird.
It's such an interesting thing, because obviously it's internal. So
yeah,
when you're talking to someone, like you don't know what they're thinking in their head.
Have you ever had a thought of something that you're meaning to say to someone, and then you forget whether you actually said it to them or you just thought it?
Oh, I've had a few instances there where I think especially when you think about it a lot.
Yeah, you think, I need to say this to this person, or need to do such and such, and then you can't remember if you actually did it or not.
It's crazy. Like I don't understand how it works, because it's so weird. Now this is the other thing which would be interesting, right? If someone was born deaf,
right,
and they don't know, so obviously they don't talk, right?
Mm.
What goes on, like if they don't have that talk in their head, or do you reckon they do have it?
I think they'd have some sort of dialect. I mean, you think of babies, they can still understand things without having the speech recognition. Right?
Yeah.
So they must have some sort of maybe non-verbal.
Yeah, but I guess maybe also when they're learning like Auslan, the sign language, they're obviously reading words as well that have a meaning. So then I guess, like, are they saying that word in their head?
And I wonder what it sounds to them in their own head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, it's like, I don't know. These are kind of some of the...
These are like trying to describe colours to a blind person.
Yeah.
Similar concept, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Like, what are they thinking?
Yeah. How do they perceive colours, and compared to how we would describe them or perceive them?
Yeah, it's kind of... it's such a weird thing, and like, it's kind of... I know the book that I'm reading now also is very heavy on... everyone actually has a different perception of the world.
Yeah.
Just based on like the way you've been raised and the way that you see things. But like the way that I see the world compared to someone else is like we could be in 2 different like galaxies.
Yeah.
But really we're like close. Like, which is, I don't know. It's all weird. It's all weird.
Kind of blows your mind a bit to go down that tangent, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know.
It's good to think about that stuff, though.
But I mean, also the internal monologue. I think monologue's a word. I'm going to drop it. It just like, do you feel bad when you start talking to yourself when you're talking to someone else in person?
What, so you're saying you have a conversation?
You're having a conversation with someone,
and then inside your head, you're also like
they
saying
start
stuff.
they start talking, and then you kind of like start talking to yourself.
I don't know. Like,
do you ever catch yourself doing that?
I probably do. Maybe not full on conversations with myself, but more
like
little thoughts
yeah,
into your head. Yeah.
Or like at uni when there's like a lecture, or like you're in a tute and the teacher's talking, and
that is tough. Like,
and then your brain just starts wandering,
and
you just start thinking about like what you're gonna have for lunch or something like that, and then you shake your head and you're like, oh damn, like I'm here, like I need to pay attention.
I've done that in a interview for a job before, and it was a really long conversation, and you know when you're trying so hard to look interested, and then the yawns start coming, and you're like trying to yawn with your mouth closed, and it comes out your eyes, kind of thing, and and all the internal monologue is going on there, and you find yourself getting easily distracted.
Are you a big yawner?
Huge yawner. Even if I'm not tired, I'll yawn all the time.
Yeah. See, I'm always yawning.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I get asked, they're like, "Oh, you're tired, are you?" And I'm like, "Nah, just yawning."
I do it all the time.
Yeah, and I've always, apparently, a little bit of research that I've done.
Okay.
Apparently you yawn because you're not breathing enough.
Maybe that's just because we're superb athletes.
Well, you are. You're a superb athlete. I'm just, I'm retired now, so I wouldn't call myself a superb athlete. But it's because you're not breathing, apparently.
Well, so your body needs that intake
like
of
that
air.
Big draw of air. And that's why you yawn.
That's interesting.
I think. I mean, not everything that I read is going to be real life or, like, true, but I think, like, it makes sense.
I mean, usually your body knows what it needs, right?
Exactly. So
oxygen's kind of important.
So we're talking about internal monologue. Now, external, you said you do a bit of that as well. How does that seem for you usually when you're talking out loud to yourself?
External, talking out loud to myself.
Yeah.
Quite often when I'm maybe motivating myself.
Yeah.
So I find myself doing a lot playing sports or in situations where I need to be motivated. Like, come on, Joel, it's time to get out of bed and be productive. Or come on, Joel, it's time to, get moving, or you can do this. It's a big encouragement for myself, I feel. What about you?
My external... See, I don't really... External's not too... I don't have it too much. I might... Oh, I can't even... Sometimes I might sing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but it's talking, but it's... If that makes sense. I don't know. But I don't really talk out loud. But I have heard that you talk out loud because if something is too big to handle inside, you kind of talk it out to visualize it more, or like make it smaller and not as big of an issue. Yeah, kind of thing. I don't know. I can't remember what they said. It's something to do with if the issue is bigger or too hard to comprehend inside your brain. You know how sometimes you have a conversation with someone that kind of opens up avenues?
Yeah.
Like it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of that same process, except there's no one there. You're just talking.
Yeah, that makes sense, because sometimes, second to writing a memory down or something you need to do, I think verbalizing it is good as well, because it brings it into reality.
Yeah.
So you have a thought of, okay, I need to go do the washing, or, something along those lines, or anything really. And once you verbalize it, it's out there, so you have to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. I know my brother does this so much, especially when he's working on cars, and sometimes I'm helping him out, and he'll start. talks to me, but it's not really to me. It's just out loud. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing this now and doing that. And I'm like, I have got no idea what you're talking about. So I just kind of sit there in silence.
You're a sounding board.
But he's just firing off all these things. And I'm like, you're talking to no one. Like, I am here, but you're not talking to me because it's not a question that I can help you with.
Yeah.
And it's also not a problem that I can help you with.
That can be a sticky situation because I've been around people that do that in the work environment. And if you only catch half of it, you constantly think that they're talking to you because you're the only one around.
When you zone out.
When you zone out. And then when you try and say, oh, sorry, what was that? You feel like an idiot because they were never talking to you in the first place.
Yeah, look, I only know my commands of go grab that, or take the wheel off, or something like that.
Spanner, wrench.
Yeah, just the basic stuff. But sometimes I'm just like, I have got no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, I guess sometimes people do that to help themselves through bigger problems. Maybe kind of talk their way through it.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. Did you watch Beer Review?
I did watch the beer review.
When did you watch the beer review?
Oh, about, I don't know, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, nice. Are you a beer drinker yourself?
I do drink beer, not massively,
Yeah.
but I'm always interested in trying a new beer.
Yes.
So if there's something I haven't tasted and experienced, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
Just to give it a go.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of trying new stuff. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of a beer, but I drink it if it's there and if I have to. And like you said, if it's something different, I'm probably more than likely to try it just because it's something different.
And something new is always exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what did you think? If you had to give our beer review a review, what would you say? So maybe, there's probably going to be some people listening to this podcast that haven't watched our beer review. How would you pique their interest?
I think what was done really well was the analytical side of the review. I know Nixie brought up a very big word, viscosity.
Yeah.
Which refers to the denseness of the liquid. Is that right?
I don't know, because I don't know what viscosity is.
I just remember high school, honey was very viscous because it was kind of thick and gluggy, and then you'd have your water, which isn't. So I was like, dang, Nixie's bringing out big words. He must know what he's talking about when, tasting beer.
Yeah, look, I had no idea. I was sitting right next to him and he dropped that word and I was just like, yeah, I'll just go with what he says. Because I have no idea what viscosity means and I'm out of my element here.
You learn something new every day.
Exactly. What do you think about the editing? I mean,
the pictures that popped up caught me off guard and made me laugh. What was the rating system that you used? The Sarnixies.
Yeah, which is a
combination
of me and Nixie's face put together.
And I love how it was your long-haired.
Yeah, it was an old photo.
Well.
It was an old photo. Yeah, we
compared to Nixie, who maybe lacks.
Yeah,
he lacks a bit of hair, so it's good to see him with some luscious locks.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been good if Nick could have put my hair more on top of his head instead of making him look like a bald dude with very long hair at the back.
He just had a really bad receding hairline.
Just never wanted to let go of it, like some of that.
There's that guy with that like weedy hair at the back that you can still tie up to be like, nah, I've got hair.
But nah, so it would kind of be it would be good to get some feedback from you guys on our beer tasting, and if that's something that you want to see more of, because me and Nixie did enjoy doing it, and we also do enjoy a beverage. So I mean, if that's something you want us to do, me and Nixie are definitely going to be more than happy to sink a couple extra beers.
Or maybe if you have any other suggestions of what Sam Nixie could review.
Anything else? Yeah, we'd be more than happy.
Drop a comment on the Instagram and
slide in the DMs. Any means of communication you can find us at that will we'll get around it.
We'll review it.
And you can see more of my amazing editing skills. I take a crash course every time I need to do something. It's quickly into Google and it's like, how do I do this?
How do I cut and paste?
And then I follow it, and then but it's kind of good because I learn. I mean, you never know when you're going to need those skills.
No,
little editing.
I really like the review. Everyone loves seeing someone else try something first, so then they can tell whether it's worth trying themselves. So you've done all the hard work for everyone.
Exactly.
Really.
Do you watch many other reviews, like on YouTube or anything like
that? When they pop up, I can sometimes go down like rabbit holes.
Yeah, right.
With the reviews.
Yeah.
Usually for like upcoming movies and things that come out or TV shows. Mostly, yeah. Yeah,
I actually there's a new skate game out called Skater XL. And I'm in this predicament because there's 3 skate games coming out, right?
Right.
So PlayStation 4 and all that hasn't had a new skateboard game since Skate 3 came out in like 2010 or something. It was like PlayStation 3.
So this is a big deal.
So it's a big deal that there's for some reason 3 skate games all got announced around the same time. It's like they knew, like one of the games must have said it, and then the other things were just like, damn, we've got to get onto this. Yeah. So there's this one game. So I'll break it down like this for you.
Okay.
Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 is getting remastered.
Great
right?
games.
Coming onto PlayStation 4. Got to get it.
Yeah.
Got to get it. Then Skate 4 has also been announced. Skate 3, in my opinion, is probably the best skateboard game there is out there. Hence, I bought a whole PlayStation 3 just so I can play Skate 3. And they're bringing out Skate 4 now. So they're 2 games that I've got to buy, right?
Yeah.
So that's like $100 or whatever, 100, maybe a bit more than $100 for both of those games to get those 2 games. Now, there's this other game called Skater XL, which is a skateboard magazine, and they did like a
Kickstarter,
something like that, for the game.
Bit of support from the crowd. See if it's worth making.
So I think their thing was, if you invested money or something, then you got the game for $20 or something like that.
Nice.
I don't know what like a cheap discounted rate.
Yeah, deals with them.
Well, this game's like $60 or something. And so I've got these 2 games that are coming out. Mind you, this all comes out during so Skater XL's out now, but then the other 2 games are coming out soon, which is also going to be around like my prac time. So I'm like, okay. I don't need more.
It's a distraction.
I don't need more distractions than there already is in life. So like I've been watching a lot of reviews on Skater XL, like, is it worth getting that 3rd skateboard game? And the review hasn't cleared anything up for me. Because I think I know inside my head I want it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get it.
So no matter what the review is, you still want it.
Yeah, and the reviews are good because it's kind of the way they've made the games very different. So a lot of skateboard games are right stick is everything for like jump, like ollies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
While on Skater XL, your right stick is your right foot and your left stick is your left foot. So to do a kickflip, you got to use both sticks. So you actually got to know stuff about skateboarding. Once again, is going to make me have to spend more time on the game because it's different.
Yeah.
And I feel like it is a game that I could get stuck in. Like I'd just.
What came first? I'm interested to ask. What came first for you? Did you start skateboarding because you like the games, or did you play the games because you've always liked skateboarding? Because you like your boards, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I do have a lot of skateboards.
Yeah.
I'd say I probably played Tony Hawk when I was young because my brother had it on Xbox or whatever we had. My brother did a bit of skateboarding, but I don't think I skateboarded much at that point in time. The biggest thing for me was in high school, like early in high school, I had a few mates that had longboards. And that kind of was
for cruising.
That was the thing that that I guess got me into that kind of skateboarding. And then as I got longboarding happen, and then I wanted kind of like a new challenge, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to try skateboarding.
Have you had any bad injuries from skateboarding?
No, I've been quite lucky. Also, I think my attention span helps me not get hurt because I can concentrate for about 15 minutes and then I'm on to the next thing that I want to do for the day. And also I get very frustrated easily. So I'm trying to kickflip.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to kickflip for like 8 months maybe. I don't know, it's a long time. But like obviously I don't put in too much time because I don't have the attention span.
Yeah, 15 minutes is probably not good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then I get even more frustrated because I'm trying to kickflip and I can't kickflip.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is just like, I get...
Makes you appreciate those professionals when they're doing pretty gnarly tricks.
I can watch. Yeah, now when I watch like the skateboarding comps and stuff, it's just like it's a whole new like world. These do like what they do.
And now they're part of the Olympics, I believe. Is that
right?
I
think it's like this is going to be the first time it's in the Olympics.
Exciting.
Which I mean, it's fair enough because what they do is
they're athletes.
Is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that it's blows your mind really. To think they can do that with like a plank of wood and some wheels. Like some of the stuff they do is just insane. But yeah, so I don't know what game I'm going to get.
So that's your predicament.
I don't know whether I'm going to get it or not.
The reviews aren't helping out.
No.
No.
So it's like, I guess it'd be similar when people watch me and Nixie's beer tasting. Like some people are going to be like, well, I want to try something new.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get it anyway. While other people might listen to our review and be like, well, didn't seem like it got a very good rap, so I'm not gonna get it now.
For it, yeah.
Which do I feel bad that maybe I'm ruining some people's experience?
Well, maybe people want to then taste it to find out why you reviewed it.
That's true.
In the way you did. So
here's a question for you: if you were doing a review, right? Say you were in this beer review, right?
Right.
And then some guy watched it, and then thought, I'm not going to get this now because Joel said it was the worst beer ever. Right? And then maybe like 6 years down the track, you run into this guy, right?
Right.
And then he's like, Joel, last week I tried this beer, and he'll say, you remember that beer tasting that you did like 6 years ago and you said, do not get it?
Yeah.
And this guy said, I bought this beer after 6 years, and I thought, I'm just going to do it now. Like, it took me that long to build up the courage to do it.
Yeah.
And I love it. And this is now my staple beer. And
I've been missing out on it for 6 years.
I've got this picture of this beer on the wall, and I wake up to it every morning and say my daily prayer to this beer. And you've ruined this guy's, you ruined it for 6 years. Like, he could have... How would you feel?
Well, people have to remember that reviews are personal. Like, you might have your own tastes and interest in something. Like, weren't you saying that you're not the biggest beer drinker, right?
Yeah.
And so perhaps you wouldn't rate the beers, that high.
Yeah.
That's not your go-to
personal
drink.
Preference. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Maybe you could do, in the next review, like a comparison of two. So that it kind of comes out with a winner in the end of the better beer.
That could be a move there. That's another one. If you want to see us do like comparisons, maybe.
Yeah, and not just beer, anything.
Anything.
Got a thought?
Yeah, we'll
plug it in.
Hit us up, and we'll do it. I mean, but yeah, hopefully it was a good review, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube. It's Opinions Unqualified Pod. It would be good if we could get some subscribers on there and a couple of views. And that's why we're trying to do the beer tasting and the tastings. Obviously, we put the podcast up there, but there's no video to it, so it's a bit boring. I understand that.
Yeah.
But, we're growing. And I kind of didn't want to I didn't want our YouTube to start super well in terms of, we had, 6 cameras, fully edited podcasts.
You want to begin from somewhere.
Yeah, so when we make it big and you look back at our first podcast...
You got a real humble beginning.
Yeah, people are going to be like, wow, these guys came up from nothing.
And they just gave it a crack.
Yeah, I just think it would... I don't know, that's me personally. Maybe other people have got different thoughts, but I thought it'd be cool. But that's why we're starting to do a little bit more video to try Try to get us some subscribers there.
A visual experience as well.
Exactly.
We can do so many more things.
And these are shorter bursts. It's not our 45-minute podcast. It's a nice little 5-minute little clip that can fill in your, I don't know, waiting at the doctor's or waiting...
Or your lunch break, you just
something like
hit
that,
up Opinions Unqualified pod.
Yeah, exactly, on YouTube and go ham on it. Something that you brought up, Joel, was that the weather and your mood. Whether the weather influences your mood.
Whether the weather
influences your mood.
Your schmood.
So, talk to me about it.
I was thinking today, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
it was quite rainy.
It was a bad day.
And I believe they said it's the coldest day we've had in 15 years.
Oh, really? It was that cold?
It was nippy. Well and truly.
Like, during the day or overnight?
During the day.
Coldest day?
I'm pretty sure it was 15, maybe 13, 15 years. Something like that.
I couldn't say I was very cold. I was
Were you inside?
No, like I walked to uni, drove to uni and then walked. But I just had a shirt and jacket.
Right. I could tell you I was freezing today.
Yeah.
So I was working right next to a door, which kept on opening. I was getting all the cold air coming in, and it's the one day of the week that I forgot to bring a jacket.
Oh, right. And I presume they got heaters in there or something?
Yeah, not in the room I was in.
Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah.
that'd probably make it a little bit better. Like if you had heater and then door
and then
opening.
the cool, that would have been okay. But no heater, no nothing. So I was cold. I was nearly miserable. So if you're cold and you got the rain coming in, are you the kind of person that affects your mood?
I wouldn't say it affects my mood. Maybe for a little bit.
Yeah,
just
a little bit.
When I wake up, let's say I don't know. Let's say it's a day where I don't have anything on in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have anything on in the morning, usually I hit up Nick and Steve or someone to go for a ride along the coast. I'll go on my skateboard and they ride their bike.
Yep.
And I get very excited when I'm able to go for a ride. So when I wake up in the morning on a day with nothing on and I'm like, let's message the boys, and by this time I still haven't seen what the weather's like unless I can hear it raining.
Yeah.
And then I'll be sitting there and then they're like, Sam, it's like it's raining or it's bad weather, and then I'm just like, damn, like that's a whole vibe kill for my day.
Puts a dampener, limits what you can do.
But then like you're like it sucks, but then I don't know, you end up doing something else.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's too bad. What about you? Does it affect you?
I'd say I'm not the kind of person that will let it really get to me. But if you had plans and now they're cancelled because of the weather,
if you have plans, then it hurts a little bit more.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit. But I think rain or shine, you got to take what you get.
It's not. Yeah, you got to control.
It's not gonna be the end of the world with whether it's raining or if the sun shines out. You got to make that choice yourself, don't you?
Yeah, you got to control what you can control.
Yeah.
Which is it's interesting though, because I wonder whether there's some people that just crack the shit, like if it's bad weather or something, and they're just like, this has ruined my day. Let's say like they were supposed to be out for like an hour.
Yeah.
And it's bad weather, and they're just like, nah, I'm packing it in for the whole day.
I reckon some people do that.
Like, just completely miserable. Like, this is the worst thing to ever happen to me. Like, this rain's just ruined my whole day. And then they're just miserable.
I could understand if you lived in a place that was always overcast. Coming from Australia, where you're used to the sunshine, that would be a bit of a dampener for me. If I was for a long period in a place
where
that was constantly overcast, I would think, dang, this sucks.
Yeah, I guess it does. Especially when you do get like a few days of rain in a row.
Yeah.
I'd say that does hurt me a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's, because you're like, I haven't been able to go to the beach, or I haven't been able to do that.
Yeah.
I can't ride my board in the rain, like... You
could, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to pay for my new electric skateboard,
short circuit through a puddle,
my bank details. But yeah, so it is interesting to see. What about hot weather? When it's super hot?
I'm a fan of the hot weather. I can put up with that more than the cold, I'd say.
Super hot? Like when it's like 40 plus?
If we're talking 40... Yeah, you can always be in water, in the beach, or inside with the aircon. I know you can say the same for winter. You can be in the heater and all that, but I wouldn't say it dampens my mood. Sometimes you get hot, and you get hot and bothered. That's the saying, isn't it? You get hot and flustered. That's true for sure with the hot days. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I can get hot and bothered.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much the end of this pod, Joel.
Wow.
How did you feel being on the pod?
I was a little bit nervous to start off with.
Nervous?
Yeah. High expectations. No, not really. No, I think it went really well. Thank you for having me.
Right, thanks for coming. Obviously a big saviour since Nixie's not here.
Happy to fill in.
Would have been an interesting pod if it was just me here staring at my whiteboard thinking about what assessments I've got due in the upcoming months.
Maybe you could have invented a new person and put on a voice and no one would ever know the difference between Sam and his imaginary friend.
Yeah, right. That would have been creepy, I think. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that I would have liked.
And then you're talking about those things about talking to yourself, internal, external.
Would have been ironic. I think, yeah. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much, Joel.
No worries.
And for our listeners, keep on sharing us to your friends and hopefully you like it enough that when you are just in a bit of conversation and people bring up a podcast, you're like, well, you should try this podcast out. Drop it. Keep sharing our Instagram, YouTube, Pins Unqualified. Slide in our DMs anytime you've got anything that you want us to talk about. If there's something that you want us to review, yeah, we're happy. Any criticism, bad, positive, we're an open book, really. We're loving doing it, so even that negative criticism's probably just going to help us be better, which is for the better. And that's it from me, and take it easy.